Ready? Then you are.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today at the second edition of our Forum of Excellence. We're sitting here today, Tobias and myself, in a monastery of Eberbach. We have a very sunny afternoon, sunny weather. So thank you for joining us on this evening. And let's start with our introduction. I will start maybe to say some words about IREBS Real Estate Academy. You know, we are having this real estate program since 30 years. We have a wide range of postgraduate students from Germany and also from Switzerland and Austria joining our courses. Our focus, our flagship, you know, is the real estate economist. We're joining in several years. In addition, we have our MBA program with 1 year, 1.5 years. And in addition, we have several intensive courses with focus on transactions, sustainability, or asset management. And with this wide range of courses, we have a big offer to current real estate professionals for education next to their professional job. We're doing these programs in a various of digital formats. We have courses in presence. We have pure video and webcast courses. So a broad range of formats matching to your individual situation, on your individual learning concepts. And please, if you have some questions, give us a call, go to our website, and let's get in contact to join IREBS Immobilienakademie for your professional career and your next step. Today, we will go through the agenda and of our Forum of Excellence. I will hand over to Tobias, who will give you an introduction of what's today the hot topics are.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we are in a year of disruption. Actually, it started last year. And for some people, it appeared that it's always linked to the rise of interest rate and it's linked to the war in Ukraine. But of course, it started earlier. We have disruptions going back, actually, at least till the great financial crisis in 2008 till 2009, when the central banks were forced to lower interest rates to a level almost never seen before, at least never seen before since I can look back. So we come from an environment that was very favorable for real estate. We didn't have any interest rates. We had, at least in many countries, like in the US and Germany, we had strong economic growth. We had inward migration into continental Europe, and we had too few construction activities. So all that was more or less the perfect momentum for real estate. So it was very easy, comparatively easy, to earn money with real estate because actually everything was needed. So, and we are coming in this from this very strange situation where we were running at full speed into the pandemic. And the pandemic was the first shock. A huge shock for the real estate industry. Apparently, everybody believed the world is ending, and we were believing that too in the first weeks of the pandemic because we had to close our facilities. We were teaching only digitally. We didn't see our students, and we realized that many questions were coming from participants of retail, of hotel business, and all the like. And we were really asking many questions: what will happen because of the pandemic? And there are always some things that happen in the course of these big shocks. Some things we learn about what we can do, and we learn that they don't change and we keep going. That is like work from home. We understood during the pandemic that we can work from home without disrupting our work environment. We learned during the pandemic that we can order more online, or at least our grandparents learned that, or parents learned that they can order online and it doesn't disrupt their life. Maybe it's even beneficial. So all these experiences are going on after the pandemic. And some activities where we are asked as maybe more human beings, social beings, they jump back to where we were before, like interacting, going to concerts, maybe even going to Rammstein concerts. They were coming back quickly. the momentum, we were allowed to do that again. And we are teaching mostly in person again. With most of our programs being interactive teaching programs, we are happy to be back offline. But it's a mix. But the pandemic was actually not only a teaching lesson for what can we do online and what can we do offline. It was also the invitation for central banks to continue their stimulus. It was an invitation for the governments to continue their stimulus programs. And these stimulus programs were too big so that we had some momentum for inflation moving up. At the second time, the pandemic, of course, meant a lockdown. Lockdowns mean no goods in, no goods out, no persons in, no persons out. Then China was locking down even more. So next to this demand side effect, we had a supply side effect that is also going into prices. So the bad thing is when the prices are rising, central banks cannot simply clear the situation with expansive monetary policies. So we are in a situation where we have structural effects and cyclical effects all coming down into the year 2022 and 2023, and I promise ongoing. And there are many questions arising. Some questions we will solve easily, like how do interest rates filter through real estate? That is comparatively easy to be answered. But some things that are very tough. For example, will globalization come to a still stand? Will we end up in a situation where the West and the East are making like an old competition between worlds, like US and China? So we have to ask the question, what does that mean if globalization comes to a standstill, comes to a halt? We will have to ask the question, what does that mean for our cities, all this? Will we have to build our cities from scratch newly? And of course, this is also related to the challenges related to climate change. So we will ask the question, is the pandemic and the interest rate environment a catalyst for our cities to change? Also, this needs to be addressed. And then, of course, we saw that in course of the last couple of years, we saw a huge wave of migrants coming not only to Europe, but coming to all the rich countries. So we have to ask the question, what does that mean beyond the pure numbers? Do they need different real estate? Do they want different real estate? And we will ask to the questions, what structural effects might be related to transforming our properties as well. We will not be able to answer all these questions within one forum of excellence only. And of course, we are not able to answer all these questions just us two. So therefore, we have invited a lineup of really distinguished practitioners and academics. So be prepared that we will have a very nice session today. We asked people to give at least their view on some of these questions so that we are able to wrap up maybe a little bit clearer in our head than what we started. Of course, and I think that is usually what I tell my students is a good lesson, a good lecture is when you enter a session with 3 questions and have these questions answered, but exit with 5 new questions. So in that sense, I hope that you are getting some of your questions answered and go out of the session with 5 new questions, because then we can continue to work. And that is also what IREBS is doing. At the Real Estate Academy, we're doing executive education, but at the Institute in Regensburg, we are doing excellent direct research that is going into public domains. So let's start now with our Forum of Excellence. And I already introduced some of the topics that we are touching upon. The first topic is we start with globalization. What is the future of globalization? My PhD was on globalization and ideology. It was in the 90s that I started working on that, and everybody was discussing globalization at that time already, because we believed that globalization is the key trend to come. So every news article was on globalization. Markets go into integrated, migration was integrated, capital flows were integrated. So globalization was the key topic, and actually that was a key driver that kept our prices low and kept our productivity growing because we could use scale economies. But this now is questioned from some people.